All right. So going back to this discussion of Dak's age and salary, listen, it's not that we don't like Dak and we don't think he's a great guy. It's easy to root for Dak, and I understand why people want to. I want to root for Dak, and I do root for him. But I also call out and try to analyze, what I see and what I think some of the problems are. But here's the thing: just because you like someone, that has nothing to do with the business of the NFL. Can they help you win? And yeah, Dak will help you win to a certain extent. We've seen that. He's right in that conversation of 10 wins every year, give or take a few. But he's now had 2 years in a row where he's had competitive rosters in the playoffs, and he didn't live up to his contract or his billing, or any of the things that the mainstream Dallas Cowboys media wants you to believe about him and his abilities. So at what point do you say it's time to move on, right? I think the Dallas Cowboys think, well, we've invested this money. It's better to have a quarterback than not have a quarterback. And in a lot of ways, that's true. But going back to part one, you think about, okay, Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl early in his career, before he was 30 and before he was making a lot of money. And then you paid him a lot of money. And what did you get out of that? Well, you were competitive, you made the playoffs a lot, and you fell short every time. Every time. With Dak, you're approaching those same analytics. Over 30, lots of money, lots of salary cap space, lots of salary cap that he's taking up. And you don't even have a Super Bowl now. You don't even have a Super Bowl from those early years like you did with someone like Aaron Rodgers, like you're getting with Patrick Mahomes. And now Patrick Mahomes has done it on both sides of his contract, like you did with any of these other quarterbacks we listed in part one. So the question is, if the analytics show that you're probably not going to be successful at this point, why do you keep with it? What is the benefit? You see, you have to be more ruthless in the NFL to flip these rosters. If a person's not helping you, you have to move on. These second contracts, they need to be fewer and far in between, because they just haven't worked out, especially for the Cowboys, and they don't work out a lot in the NFL because you're paying a guy for what they did, not how they're going to produce in the future. And that is not the formula for how you need to structure a team to go win games. If Aaron Rodgers, who is arguably the most skilled quarterback we've seen in recent memory, is not able to help you produce and win a Super Bowl after the age of 30 and after that second and third in contract and all these negotiations and these extensions, then what makes you believe that Dak Prescott is going to be any more successful? His skill level is nowhere near Aaron Rodgers. And yet somehow just getting him another receiver or some more help there, which is going to be hard to do when you have such a huge contract with him at the quarterback, how is that going to be successful? So you've missed the window with winning with Dak, most likely. I'm not saying it can't happen. It's not impossible. If you're there in the playoffs, that's the idea behind Mike McCarthy, right? He gets his team in the playoffs every year, and if you're in the dance, then you got a shot. It's the Tom Brady formula. Of course, Tom Brady, that's a whole nother story, how they structured teams and how he did his contracts and his money. So we won't get into that. But Aaron Rodgers, I get it. He's not, he's on a whole nother level than Dak. And yet, but that's the point though, right? A whole nother level, and he still couldn't win. But somehow, extending Dak, staying with this contract, is going to end up producing for you the result that you want. I just don't see it. There's all other, plenty of examples. Roethlisberger, heck, Eli Manning. None of those guys were start winning. They don't keep winning, right? Roethlisberger's all under 30. And you could argue he was a better quarterback than Dak. I mean, I don't even know if that's an argument. Of course he is. The sample size of the quarterbacks that are able to produce on those second and third contracts over the age of 30 is not good. And Dak is, however you want to put him with the current crop of quarterbacks, he's not in the conversation of any of those guys. So I just think from a business point of view, and again, you're in a bad situation because of this contract to begin with in the first place. You should have never done it, but you're here now. And so the two options are you stay with it, you stay in the current contract, which means your team's going to suffer this year and next year. But then you have options, or you extend him and then you kick this decision down the road even further and hope that something happens. You're living on hope again. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, as a Dallas Cowboys front office, as a Dallas Cowboys coach, you're living on hope again that somehow this same formula that doesn't work out at other organizations is going to work out here. I just don't see it. All right, let's go Cowboys.